Welcome back, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. And it is time for our second game of the day. The first game certainly didn't disappoint. We had a Game 5, we had a buzzer beater to send it to overtime, and then we had an overtime goal to decide who went through as our first finalist from Europe. Now, I believe we're actually going to have an interview with one of those players coming up very soon, gentlemen, which is always exciting. I believe we're going to hear from Freaky, who I haven't heard from for a while, so I'm looking forward to having a chat with him. But it sounds like we actually already have Freaky on the line. So if you can hear us, Freaky, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing very good.
Yes, there he is. It's lovely to hear from you, mate. I haven't seen you for a while. First question to you. First thing I should say, actually, is obviously congratulations to making it through. Never doubted you. Never doubted you. But first question I want to ask you is, it's overtime. The ball's up in the air. You're the one behind the ball. What's going through your head? Don't miss?
Well, I knew that Caster had no boost, so I was just shouting into my headset, "No boost, no boost, no boost!" And I hoped Killer just got it, and he did insane. So.
Okay, the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I actually want to go all the way back before this even began. You know, you used to play with Killer number 7 on Penta, and I was just curious, was that part of the reasoning for why you teamed up with him for the Universal Open, or did Killer number 7 say, like, let's go crush people in twos?
It was a bit, yeah. We have always been friends, and after LAN, where I personally underperformed, I thought, let's just play with someone I really like to play with, and we did it as a fun play and didn't really expect to go all the way, but then we had a really good open qualifier run, and now we're here. I'm just happy, yeah.
All right, and then Freaky, we've obviously got a few more teams left to get through today. Who from the European region are you looking at right now as potential challengers?
I think that Scrubkiller and Greasy definitely gonna make it, and that Ronicky and Caster are gonna play really good in the low bracket match. So it depends on who's making it between Complexity and Fnatic, because there was a close match already. So. Let's see.
Okay, and final question to you, Freaky, and I think I know the answer that you're going to give me from this one is, are you going to win the whole thing?
Of course!
Of course you are! There we go. That's why I love you, Freaky. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations once again, and best of luck at finals, my man.
Thanks, man.
All right then, guys. I love that. I've got to be. I love that man. he's a great character. And if you're just joining us, of course, they were the first team to qualify through from the European qualifiers here. But let's talk about game number 2 now, because we've got a lot more to get through today. We still got to find 4 more qualifiers from 5 teams that are left.
I forgot.
It's time for Complexity to take on Girls.
Yeah, excited to get to see this one. You get to see the number 2 team, the runners-up from last season, and they take on Greasy and Scrubkiller. Greasy nor Scrubkiller, I don't believe, played in this one last year, and everyone's excited to see Scrubkiller. Like I mentioned right before the broadcast started, first real high-profile tournament, and you get to see a lot of the 1v1 skill that he's cultivated over his years. You know, he's been playing, you know, Rocket League or some iteration of it since, I swear to God, since he was born. But yeah. if you're imagining, like, what a child who picked up an instrument at a very young age is like, Scrubkiller's that with Rocket League. It's like he's going to blow your mind.
Okay, well, it's almost as if it is in his blood, isn't it, Rocket
Pretty
League,
much.
As a person. But let's talk about Complexity a little bit. Obviously, you know, we've still got Magnus and Metsanora still there. Obviously, some changes from the ROCS season between that particular team. But these two back together for one last hurrah. And it would be the Cinderella story, wouldn't it, if they did make it through here?
Yeah, absolutely would be. I mean, they've been together for absolutely forever at this point. And as you mentioned, it's the final chance that they have. Last season, they came second in the tournament overall, only losing to Dignitas, or at the time Gale Force, in the finals. And suddenly, that monster in their closet is gone. They're not. Dignitas are out of the tournament at this point. So Complexity are definitely a team to worry about, because there is a level of teamwork there and a level of understanding that very few teams have.
And a reminder to everyone, this is, again, an upper bracket game, so it's not the end of the road for either of these teams. I believe the loser of this will take on Fnatic, who had a pretty strong record yesterday. So that's another game, another mouth-watering game to come up today. Every single game is going to be insane today as we fight it out for qualification. But what do you think the secret's going to be here? Because we talk about how 1v1 skill has been so prevalent in the 2v2 arena, and obviously with someone like Scrubkiller, you know, there with that natural skill and that 1v1 prowess. Are you favouring the guys here on girls? I mean, Freaky was. So, I mean,
I
he's usually a man you listen to.
Do I favor them? Absolutely. I actually think Scrubkilla is that good. I think he's capable of 1v2ing almost anybody in this game. Wow. I think he is that good.
I mean, that's a glowing endorsement, to be honest with you. On the other side of things, you know.
Yeah, Complexity, they'll offer a huge fight to this one. But I feel like a player that's not getting mentioned enough here is Greasy. Greasy is a player that has had a bit of a disappointing time as of late. He was moved into a substitute role on Envy for quite a while, and he was not happy about that, as all top-level players should never be.
You want to be winning. You want to be playing.
Exactly. I've heard he's been on the grind as of late. I heard that he's back for it, but we haven't seen him in any major tournament in a very long time. This is sort of like the unveiling of the new and improved Greasy Meister. So I'm curious what we get to see from him, because we've got to remember, he is a world champion in his own right.
We can rebuild him. We can make him stronger. And hopefully Greasy's going to come out with that fire. A little bit like Freaky was earlier. And he came out with that fire later in that series. Hopefully he can bring that to the table as well. Let's talk about the lower bracket a little bit, though, before we do get into this game. We're just waiting for the players to load into the lobby at the moment. We'll get into the game as soon as we possibly can, because the loser of this goes up against Fnatic. Now, Fnatic, they looked pretty solid yesterday. They managed to get it done. I believe they actually went 6-0 yesterday in the game. So, you know, a pretty solid run through the bracket. But I just still don't feel they've been tested, maybe as much as some of the other teams.
Yeah, close games. Yesterday, they took down 2 Swedes, I believe, 3-0, and they were pretty much one-goal games. They also took down Mouse Sports 3-0, and those were also fairly close games. So, against the best of the best, either Complexity or girls, again, it's kind of, hey, look, now it's the top of the cream, the top of the cream, the cream of the crop. It's going to be the best of the best against them, and Fnatic going to have to bring some more offensive firepower.
Well, that's the thing. They do have that ability to raise their game. We know what these players can do. So, are you expecting them to raise their game again, and again just almost prove us wrong with saying that they're scraping through the bracket a little bit at the moment and put in a performance that you're expected to see
from
from
them?
them?
There's almost a paradox to be had here, because Complexity and Fnatic are very similar. They are both. Complexity even said to me when I've actually spoke to them. They get better depending on who they're up against. We've been watching this tournament. It looks like Fnatic is getting better depending on who they're up against. I don't know if that sort of causes some sort of weird mid-level where they both just go, "What are you going to do?" We'll respond.
They both just back off and let each other do their thing and went, okay, we're going to try and do that a little bit better, do exactly the same thing. But it's obviously an interesting thing. And a reminder to everyone at home, give us your predictions as well for this game, as well as your top 4. We're going to have a quick look on our phones on Twitter at the moment, searching for that hashtag to see what you guys are saying. But, I mean, the first thing we got right, did we get right? Did we predict it right? No, we were on the fence. Oh, so did I. You got it wrong.
Huh?
I picked No Names to win that.
I don't believe I picked.
I don't think you actually picked. Now that
I don't think I
about
actually got a chance to pick, but I did get 2 games in a row.
You
correct.
did get 2
That's
games
true.
in a row.
I got games 3 and 4, and I refused to predict game 5.
We can all be
that's
right.
fair. Yeah, we're all right.
We're good at this. We got way more predictions right today than we ever did on Tuesday.
Okay, now talking about one thing I want to talk about, obviously, is I want to talk about Scrub a little bit. I think we need to talk about Scrubkilla a little bit. Obviously, coming into the competitive scene now, yes, he's been playing a lot of competitive games, etc., etc., but tournament play is very much different. This environment is very much different to non-tournament play, as we should call it. Do you feel it's still going to take him some time to adjust? Because obviously we saw him at Insomnia, and a few years ago, and he put in an incredible performance there. Is it just natural for him to just be able to deal with the pressure?
He is. It's almost as if you can see in a lot of sports these days that there's a grassroots system in place where you get players at a very young age and you train them up to be a perfect player by the time they are ready to enter the professional scene. Scrubkilla is as close to an example of that as we are going to get for a very long time. And he has been in tournaments forever. You mentioned Insomnia. He's been playing in the weekly Gfinities. He's been playing in everything you get a hold of. 2-time 12 Titans champion. A tournament where you either win it all and get yourself either the $1,000 or the $10,000 prize pool, or you get nothing. There's no question about his ability to step up when the pressure is on. The players that he has beat in those sort of tournaments, Fairy Peak in the finals of the last one, and to be honest, he made it look almost simple. He played Lachinio in the finals of the first one. Scrubkilla is designed. I feel like he was born to play this game.
He crushes people.
And
man.
you can see there's photos of him online where he is just playing SART BC as just a kid, just playing away. I think he's been playing it since he was
like 5 or something.
8, 5, 6.
Young.
Very young. Single-digit age.
What was it? 8596.
Yeah.
Is that
I
your
think there's a
is that
phone
your
number.
PIN
It's
number?
also the same sort of age I learned how to count. So.
Okay, well, just having a quick look at Twitter right now. We've got a few other tweets coming in, and one of them is from Morab Alist, I believe. Apologies if I get your name wrong there, but it said, if Scrub Killer loses, it's my fault. I dragged him down to my level last night. And he says, if he wins, of course, it's because of my warm-up skills. Thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Of course. Morbo's been around the community scene for a pretty long time. He mostly hangs out on Twitter and Twitch chat, and he's been a big supporter of the Rocket League esports scene for a while. So, of course, he would teach Scrub everything he knows.
Okay, we're still waiting on one of the teams to join the lobby. As I say, we're sorry about the delay at the moment. We'll get the game as soon as we possibly can. We want to bring you the gameplay as soon as we can, of course. Another tweet that I've just seen coming in here is from Stumpy.
Okay, suddenly I'm ready for this.
And he says, I like seeing Onset's bald head, Callum the Shogun's round head, and achieves his normal head on the Universal Open Season 2. Well, thank you, Stumpy. Thank you.
I
think
pride
it's all we're going
myself
for.
on being exceedingly average with my face shape. So.
Me and Shogun. That's why you're bookending it. Right? We're bookending you even. Some more that come through is Spikeball Keller is saying he's calling complexity in 4 for this one.
Bold take.
Yeah, bold.
It's not a bad choice, though,
Same
of course, because, again, you know, Complexity, Metz and Magnus, they're great players. We saw them play back in day number 1. It's a very well-coordinated effort in the 2v2 realm for these two guys, and it's a reasonable thing to take them in 4 games over Greasy and Scrub, but, you know, that's...
I think they could match the pace. I really do think they can match the pace.
I think they can.
A team that's very quick on that front. I mean, Greasy has been a player that when I saw him a while ago, I believe this was back in like season 4, back when he was playing on the team. He seemed too fast for his own good. You know, sort of the dog that's chasing its own tail and it can never quite reach. That was sort of the way it was, where he was getting to players before he needed to get to them and had to stop, which meant he took all of the pace out of his gameplay. So I think if we're expecting anything here, if we expect how quick the last game was, this one is going to go above and beyond that. I don't think... If there is a boost pad on the pitch, someone's doing something wrong, because they should all be taken. You need all of the boost to keep up here.
Okay, then well, one final one is from Twitch Staff, who says, you can't bet against Metsonorus and Mogner. So it seems like the guys on Twitter are looking forward to Complexity taking this one, but we're finally here. We're into game number 1. Complexity taking on Girls.
This is going to be one of the biggest matches we get to see for such a long time.
Scrub and the Batmobile.
Two of the teams that many people have picked out as potential winners for the entire tournament, playing against each other for qualification. And qualifying in the upper bracket of the European qualifiers is just one heck of an achievement in amongst itself, as the follow-up from Magnus will be skied. Like I said, I'm very curious to be watching Greasy today.
Here we go.
Haven't been able to see enough to him recently. Greasy Meister with the redirect, and that's going to be enough to pull out Magnus. Follow-up from Scrub Killer. Saved against the post. Greasy Meister taking his time. And that is going to be a massive block there from Magnus, forcing Scrub Killer to get a hold of the ball. Here's Metsonorus and finds the first goal of game number 1.
Yep. Great transition from offense to defense. Scrub trying to do his best, but unfortunately got directly under the middle of that ball. Needs to get that out to safety into the corner. So often, we like to say Scrub is unbeatable on offense, and for a long time, he was considered one of the best defenders in the world as well. So surprising to see him not get that out to safety.
It's going to be very difficult to try and push a ball straight down the middle to the side. Just not enough angle to work with. That's Naris, leaving that one for Magnus. As I mentioned earlier on, it definitely seems like Complexity have always been a team that have played up to whatever standard their opponents put against them.
A little bit surprised that Greasy is playing the frontman role for this team, at least at the start of this game. Scrub Killer deciding to defend the back line a little bit more because, again, Scrub Killer's dribbling prowess is nothing to sneeze at.
I don't think they're going to get the space for too many dribbles in this game. It's going to be all about pace all the way through. Who can win the challenges and who can set up some space for their team. Metsonorus tried to pass off to Magnus. Didn't quite find it, but he has found himself all of the boost over in that corner. I believe Magnus got the middle one as well. That's going to put Girls in a tough situation. As you can see, Scrub Killer currently on 0. Now got himself up to 100. I think he called Greasy off that far corner one. Get himself back into the game. Scrub Killer.
Nice demo.
Be all by himself at the time, Magnus. And now Scrub Killer wants to take advantage of that, but Metznaris is back in time. Greasy.
Oh, free ball.
Plenty of space for him. A lot of long balls being played so far by girls. Just seems to be handing possession back over to Complexity.
Here we go.
Now Scrub Killer takes it past, but he is bumped on the way down. Now it's going to be all up to Magnus and Greasy to figure out who's got this, and it will be Magnus unchallenged. Greasy Meister just trying to lock down this midfield.
Nice pass off the wall. Nice and high as well. Unfortunately, though, didn't take a good bounce.
Oh, Greasy went hunting for Metza.
Greasy's been hunting
And
demos
he's
since
going
the
for
game
it
of the
yet
start.
again. He's just become the Royal Air Force all by himself. We're in London, it still counts.
I was about to say, I was like, hang on, where's Greasy from?
It's definitely not London.
Yeah, definitely not London.
But we do have Scrub on a team, so it's all good.
That's fair.
Greasy. Just can't do anything too much more, but he could get us over the top of Metznaris. There's a lot of defense being played by Complexity so far. Girls just trying to find some way to unpick the lock.
Great
That is
shot.
this defense, and that is how you do it. They went from trying to unpicking the lock to just smashing it.
Yeah, nice long cross from Greasy Meister, and Metznaris, very unfortunate. He was waiting on that ball to, instead of sort of skim along the top of the ceiling, he wanted it to come straight down. That's what he was expecting to happen. Fortunately, it pretty much just kissed it, rolled straight across, and went right over the Scrub, and back post shot, tough save, and they couldn't get there.
Now Scrub Killer with the pushover. We've got 1 goal each. Complexity will need to start finding a way forward, and they might have done exactly that after the demo on Scrub Killer. Off the backboard, Scrub can't quite reach it, and it's going to be all down to Greasy to take it away from an oncoming Magnus offense. It really just feels to me right now like both teams are trying to force good challenges for themselves, and whoever can win them will get a good offensive chance for themselves. Metza by himself. Greasy over to Scrub, and that's going to be well challenged by Metznaris.
Challenged by Metza, but Scrub doing a good job keeping that on offense, and it's another free ball for his team here.
Magnus. So straight back down over to Scrub. Tries to feather the boost out, but couldn't quite grab the ball onto the hood. Greasy, he's still got boost for this, and what a goal that was! 2-1 to girls.
A brilliant shot here from Greasy Meister, nice and high again. Metza and Magnus have had a tough time dealing with anything off the back wall just because they haven't been up there to defend it early on, and they leave it open, and again they exploit it, and this time Greasy, brilliant double tap.
Said I was looking forward to seeing the new and improved Greasy Meister. If there's more of that to come, I very much like the new and improved Greasy Meister. But now Metznaris looking for the ceiling. Complexity for the first time down in this game, and they've got to try and find a way to open up the girls' defense with 20 seconds left. Magnus, that could be unchallenged, but instead Metznaris was already trying to find his way back. That's how crucial controlling that mid boost can be. Another big clear. Girls just
Wasting time.
never miss touch when they're in that position. And that one will be let to drop, but Magnus just about read it. We've already had 1 0-second goal. Have we got one more left in us? Looks like Scrub Killer will push that one down. And girls will fight back to take game number 1.
Wow, what a cagey affair that game number 1 was. Both teams. Seems like they were really trying to feel each other out in that first one, gentlemen. If you want a paradox of what we saw in the first game of the previous series, which was just everyone throwing everything at each other, a very tactical feeling game, that one.
Yeah, and Metza and Magnus surprisingly limited a lot on the offensive chances. Greasy and Scrub did a nice job out of the midfield. One of them was pretty much always able to get a handle on the ball and really make it tough for them to transition smoothly to offense and defense. And Metza and Magnus, good job keeping a lot of those chances out, but they're going to have to earn a few more over on the other side if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, if you're Scrub Killer and Greasy Meister, you'll actually be very happy with how this first game went down. They pretty much dominated the offensive chances. Yeah. It was all just down to complexity. They got the first goal, which, to be honest, I just don't feel like Scrub can do too much of that unless he can get it at a light enough touch to get a follow-up afterwards, but this was just sublime. And the second one is just even better. Greasy Meister, I'm very impressed with what I've seen from him so far.
Perfect read, too. Oh, man.
Exactly what was needed. We were talking about a little bit of magic, and you feel like this might be what separates these two teams. Both, you know, not going to make too many mistakes on the game, but little bits of magic like that. You were asking for Greasy Meister to impress you, Shogun, and he had a very, very solid first game there. Yeah,
he absolutely did. I feel like there's a slight mistake being made tactically by Complexity. Taking on Scrubkiller and Greasy Meister, I don't think they can quite match them mechanically.
I thought you just said
the
mistake.
Just the matches. Yeah. No, I feel like allowing the space for the mechanics of Greasy and Scrub to come out is a huge mistake. Yeah. Where Metza and Magnus shine most is in the freeze area, where it's all about pace, it's all about teamwork, it's all about speed and challenging, and they're just not taking that right now. They've really got to start upping the pace if they want to have a chance.
It's the brilliant blend that 2v2 is, you know. 1v1's all about the star power. What can you do on your own? And 3v3 is very much, all right, this is a teamwork environment. You have to work together to be successful. And 2v2, you get that perfect mix of both, you know. You have that teammate to rely. You're able to take plenty of risks that you might not be able to take in 1v1. And, you know, it comes down to who's got more star power, but also who doesn't leave the back door open.
We saw from Dignitas how they were almost obsessive with the way that they were trying to go for passes on the floor. I want to see more of that from Method. That's the way that they're going to be able to break down the defense from Girls, because if they're trying to take individual opportunities, they're pretty much waiting on a rotation or a mechanical mistake from Greasy and Scrub. It's not going to happen as much as they want to. They've got to try and open up that space by themselves. And we've already seen how if you get a team that isn't there to challenge you, if you can change the shooting angle, like Dignitas were doing a lot, they can be so difficult to hit. Remember Dignitas, when we did get to see them on screen, they should have been scoring like 10 more goals than we actually saw them put in. I think Method are capable of the same.
Okay, then, well, it's...
oh, wow, that was a callback. It's Complexity.
I didn't even notice. That's the crazy part. Like, I was just like, yeah, Method, whatever.
Do you know the worst bit is, Shogun? What? He said it twice. It's all right, though, because I love you. I'll let you off. I was rolling with it.
You sweetheart.
It's Complexity. Let's get into our second game. Complexity taking on Girls.
It's been a long year, okay?
A lot has changed.
A lot has changed, yet still, these two, at least for that last hurrah, will be sticking together. Greasy Meister just going to be waiting all the way back. Another booming clear. Girls just happy to keep Complexity on the other side of the field, and nothing too much more, as Greasy Meister was actually demoing and bumping. Scrubkiller just plays for territory and for pace. Metza. Straight down. Once again, Scrubkiller gets very solid contact. Might have even set up Greasy Meister for a shot. Very back and forth so far. Both teams haven't been happy to set up, but there is that infield pass. Validation achieved.
Validation to a T. Scrubkiller goes all the way back, grabs the corner boost first, and maybe a little bit too aggressive with that challenge. Just a lot of ground to try and cover and get there, but excellently performed by Magnus and Metza. They keep it just out of reach, and that's all that counts.
So Complexity have got the lead yet again. The worst thing they can do is settle on it. That's what they did last time, and they got caught. Greasy Meister tries to find a miracle angle with his shot. It's just away from him. Once again, Complexity starting to swarm forward. Won't be any challenge. It just seems like Complexity aren't quite happy to go forward and really get in the face of Girls. Greasy Meister taking his time. It's a big challenge, and that could have been two. Girls for the first time taking the ball down to play, and this is going to be Scrubkiller. Might have actually set up Greasy Meister, but forcing another save out from Magnus. He's going to try and chase this one down, maybe set up Metza. Does exactly that. He's gone underneath, and Scrubkiller has it covered.
You know, I actually think Greasy did a nice job in front of that blue box there, not trying to jump and win that challenge, because even if he does, Scrub's not on defense, and all it does is open the door for a counterattack from Magnus and Metza. But an air dribble, completely uncontested. I thought for sure somebody was going to dive in front of this one, but he just goes, you know, pretty much the entire length of the pitch, no sweat.
I think that first touch was way too good for Metza to even really consider getting up there. He was always going to be second best. So Scrubkiller sort of bringing out some of his old We Dem Babies teammate, Bluey, in himself. Now Greasy Meister looking to go over the top. Scrub's got the shot, and he's going to nail it.
You want to talk about perfect placement? Well, you found it. Greasy gives him just enough of workspace with this little clip on Metza as he lands, and if he's facing frontward, I bet Metza makes that save. Looking the wrong way, though. Scrub has to put it in one spot, and he aced it.
Girls won the last one 2-1, but they scored much later in the game. Now with 3 minutes on the clock, it's going to be down to Complexity to find a response. Scrub Killer leaving it for Greasy. Magnus will just get shut off from the play. Scrub Killer has it on his hood yet again, but opted for an early shot. This is well rotated so far from Girls. Just very basic, one player forward, one player back, but they're shifting between the gears so well.
A lot of boost being used by Scrub. Could be a long time getting back here.
Gonna drop down. Scrub Killer has plenty of time before Magnus comes charging into him. Pinch attempted from Metza, but it's just gonna go straight back over to Greasy Meister yet again. Nice first touch. Scrub Killer has got Magnus to play against, and Magnus finds the top corner.
And Scrub Killer thought twice here as he came out of the net. He saw it off the ceiling, turned around, said, I'm gonna go challenge, said, hang on, maybe not.
Yes.
And Magnus made him pay. He said, you're gonna give me the space, you're done.
Scrub has effectively no good options in that situation. He moves forward, Magnus is just gonna tap it over the top and leave it for Metza to try and follow up. He stays still. Well, Magnus is one of the most lethal strikers out there. Save from Metza, but he will be giving over boost to Scrub Killer. That's what a lot of these long balls so far has been attempted to do, and Greasy almost found a way through. He's put his team up 3-2. Greasy clears out, but it'll only be over to Magnus.
Magnus and Metza also doing a much better job breaking past that midfield line. Getting way more chances on offense this time around. Feels
like Complexity are trying to settle into some sort of way of just consistently beating Girls to the ball. So far, I'll actually give Girls credit. They're not actually biting to the play style. They are picking their opportunities well.
It's a lot of long clears for Magnus and Metza, and Greasy and Scrub are having to play far back to deal with that.
So Magnus, infield passing option is around. Instead, he's going to try and go over the top and force a challenge. And Greasy Meister didn't bite until he was already on the ground, completely out of boost. Goes underneath. Well shot there from Metzenaris. And Complexity have regained their lead.
And we've seen some crazy shots out of the corner today. And Metzenaris delivers another one just right to the back post, any closer. And Greasy skims that one out. Not sure if it would have made a difference because I think they were waiting at the top of the box, but either way.
Now less than a minute's remaining. Girls have got some work to do. Scrub Killer, early shot from him. I don't think those shots are really intended to open up the defense, just go and steal boost. But this very much could be. Metzenaris on his hood, he will just launch away. Demo. Scrub Killer, over to Greasy. Magnus already up in the air, I think he's been called off.
Oh, another demo.
Now a 2v1, Scrub Killer, just challenged. That was a huge block from Metzenaris, doesn't allow Scrub to find the corner. Now we transition. One goal for Complexity could finish this one off. Metzenaris is already out of there. And Magnus moved himself forward just a tiny bit. Once again, those long balls just designed for Scrub Killer to go and steal some back boost. Scrub turns. Looking for the backboard. Metzenaris has been bumped a little bit, but that's another clear. Just can't seem to get enough. And now, it's Complexity's turn to try and hold on with 0 seconds remaining. Metza tries to clear. Scrub Killer's going to try and keep up. That's such a heavy touch. Greasy Meister was trying to chase. 1 game each.
Beautifully balanced this series is. I sound a little bit like Yoda there, but it was meant to be more poetic English than it actually was. Complexity take your game number 2 there. And that for me was just a game of absolutely unbelievable finishing of chances from both teams there.
Yeah, it took a lot of effort to get balls into the back of the net. Both teams playing some pretty sound defense, and credit where it's due, Magnus and Metzenaris had to make a couple of really tough stops, especially there at the end. And again, the strategy they employed this game worked. It was long clears, make Scrub and Greasy play further back to deal with them because they're just launching the ball downfield, chasing it down. And the more important thing is Scrub and Greasy Meister haven't really got the best of chances to go and steal all the resources over on that opposite side and make it tough for Magnus and Metzenaris because their first touch out of that blue half has been so strong, and it's never been a weak clear that's been able to be thrown back right back onto defense.
Now, I will give Complexity huge credit for one thing right now, is that They are resorting to on-the-line defense as a last resort. They do not want to see any of it. Instead, if they can challenge, they 100% will. And that's working out so far, because girls, they can just have a couple of testing shots just to pull out the defenders and then finish it off, especially with the way that they're trying to control the boost. So it's been a good counter so far to the current options that Greasy Meister and Scrub are offering, but we all know that Scrub and Greasy, they've got a lot of different ways to open up a defense.
We've already seen a couple different ways, you know. A lot of air dribbles from Scrub Killer coming out, Greasy going for a lot of bumps and demos. The next thing is, you know, the ground dribbles and the passing plays, so we'll see if they bring that out here in Game 3.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing all of the toys that they have to bring out to try and break down what has been a stalwart complexity defense so far. Metsonoris, though, I mean, the player that we probably spoke about least in the lobby at the start of the series. Very impressive game from him there, and he seems to, like you said, raised his games to his opponent a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they get frustrated by because it's very hard, it's very easy to miss, and I missed it for a long time until they literally spoke to me during one of the live events, is they're not great playing against sort of lower level opposition because they can kind of make it look like they are weaker compared to lower level opposition, but they play better against good opponents. It's very much a case of they're never going to dominate a series. I think I've seen it once back in Season 4 against Mockit when they actually dominated a series, and it's a very rare thing, but Complexity, they seem to win more often than not. But Scrub Killer and Greasy are born winners, and this is a big test.
Well, let's see if the test can be answered then. As we say, balanced beautifully at the moment, this series. Of course, this is a qualification game as well. The winner will be going through to the grand finals of Season 2 of the Universal Open. I believe that we're ready for Game 2 now, gentlemen. I suppose all we should do now, let's get into it. Game number 2. Let's go.
So the winner of this is the swing game. We'll have all of the advantages heading into the rest of the series. And once again, girls opting for long balls to try and pick up as much boost as they possibly can. Magnus, far side. Just going to be handed straight back over to Scrub Killer, who's looking to try and control in the midfield, and he's going to do exactly that. Maybe a bit preemptive on the jump-up dribble. Magnus, one-on-one. He's got Metsonoris in support. Wow. Doesn't quite get the timing right. But it was very well played from Scrub Killer just to avoid Metsa.
Yeah, had to dodge the demo as well. Huge stop. Keep things locked at zeros to start it off.
Now Scrub to the corner. Greasy Meister as well over. And pretty crucial play over the cross of the goal line. Otherwise there was going to be absolutely nobody back on the side of girls. Now Scrub Killer chasing back here. He's got Magnus up against him. And Greasy Meister might have opened up some space for Metsa to move into. This is all about territory between both these teams.
Ooh. Like that. One off the ceiling, but both teams have done a great job reading a lot of clears from both teams. They're positioned well out of the midfield. That's why it's been such a heavily contested battle in that area of the field, because they're reading the clears quite well. Nice demo again from Greasy.
It feels like a battle in the midfield, but both teams have been very happy to back off from that battle.
Yep.
No one is really challenging for a ball that they know they are in the disadvantage of winning.
Yeah, no risky challenges at all.
Well played by both these teams, but one mistake could offer this first goal up to the other team. Scrub Killer looking for the follow, but Magnus not only saves the ball, but he traps it against the wall.
The best part is I'm watching Scrub on all of those attempts. He's got the read bang on. If they miss that clear, you know it's going in the back.
Oh, he's going to have to think about following this one up. Constantly going for the backboard at this moment. Girls just trying to starve out their complexity opponents.
Starting to get a little bit of a grip, though. They've stolen away one of the corner boosts, so they have to give up that one again. Perfect long clear from Metsonoris.
Backboard found once again. Scrub Killer.
Respect.
Rolled off a little bit, but that is the first time Complexity's missed one of those balls, so not exactly much to blame Scrub if he was to think, okay, they've definitely got this one again. Metsa's got to play for time, though. Magnus trying to rotate back. Feels like we're back in Game 1, almost, with both these teams just trying to slowly outthink one another and find that perfect golden opportunity to put one in the back of the net, and this could very well be it. Scrub Killer has got to go against Magnus, but defense is prevailing every single time so far in this series. If you want an example of how to play good defensive Rocket League in 2s, this is it. And the offense has not been bad either. It's just very, very risk averse. Oh, there's a big bump.
One-on-one. The other
Scrub Killer. He's going to watch as Greasy's trying to go around Magnus, and Magnus twists, turns, and saves.
That's just a slight timing differential there. This one's off the back wall. Dangerous. Scrub needs to get it to
Oh, he's
safety.
not
A
got it.
miss. There's Metza, and he got it. What a recovery from Scrub Killer. Greasy on the dribble the other way.
Now Greasy going to go against Magnus. Straight over, and this is going to be the open net. It just required a bit of chaos to finally break everything down.
A massive stop from Scrub Killer in the corner. Magnus trying to shut the dribble down, punches it off his own sidewall before Metza's in position, and finally, Scrub and Greasy break through. It was just a matter of who makes the bigger play, and it was Scrub Killer there.
Good challenge to start. Metz and Norris down the middle. Almost tied us up at 1 goal each. Complexity are about to really turn up the pace if they want to try and find a way back into this game. Demos, a crucial factor so far. Greasy misses, Magnus follows, and that's not a great shot.
Poor
But
clear.
Metz another shot in, and the rebound will give us 1 goal each.
And here comes the double commit. One miss clear. Magnus fires a rifle of a shot right into the middle of the net, and Greasy dives out of the corner. Scrub got a hand on it and just a little bit too antsy over on the orange side. If they keep them composed, if Greasy has faith in Scrub making that save, he can get that secondary clear, but they concede the equalizer.
Yeah, difference of ideas. Scrub almost felt like trying to tap it down to Greasy. Greasy just wanted it away already. What a series this has been so far. Although that is not great for Metz. He's handed over the shot, he's handed over the goal. And girls are back in the lead.
Picked a spot here, poor clear from Metza. Finally, something that doesn't go up the field. He wanted that off the top of his car and all the way down to the other end of the pitch so they could grab boost. Instead, he lifted it straight up, and Scrub said, "Thank you very much. I like free chances on net."
So, complexity. Tell me if you've heard this one before. Looking for a goal back. And they've actually handed over the ball to Scrub Killer. Magnus backflips, essentially trying to set up Greasy. Now Magnus on the ball. Heavy first touch. Gives it straight back over to Scrub Killer again.
And Magnus knew immediately, too. As soon as he hit that too hard, he peeled away and said, "I'm going to go grab boost. I know I gave it away."
Over to the middle. Greasy Meister shuts that one down. Follow up. Gonna
Wow.
look to swarm. Scrub Killer, though, clears away. And once again, that boost is so important to both of these teams. A save from Metz keeps his team in the game, but Greasy Meister half rotates and shoots off the post. Scrub Killer. They're trying to finish off this match. And this is the sort of craziness that led to the last goal that we saw. Will it happen again with only a few seconds left? Magnus, he can follow up.
Whoa.
Can't get the block, and Greasy Meister clears long. Scrub Killer beat
Tough
off
one.
the backboard. Magnus
Whoa, we got there.
gets the shot saved. It's still not over. Scrub Killer clears the midfield. Magnus can keep it up.
What did he do? He got one more chance.
Goes long. Metz might have been a bit too deep with that shot.
Oh my goodness, Greasy.
And now it's all down to Scrub Killer. What's the mind game? Not good enough. Metz didn't find the side of the wall.
Ah, that was a lot of fun.
That was fantastic.
That was
great fun.
unbelievable. Every single game in this series decided by 1 goal so far. And I mean, both of these teams, again, they're putting on a show, but a different kind of show to what we saw in that game, in that first series of the day. But girls now lead the series 2-1. We've all got smiles on our faces because this is some unbelievable Rocket League for both teams.
The funny thing is there was things to unpack at around the 30-second remaining mark. It was a great play from Scrub in front of his box to get a couple of free chances to get an insurance goal in the way. And then Magnus and Metzenor at the 0-second mark, chance after chance, and Greasy pulling out the so low boost defensive heroics. Some crazy stops with limited resources, and definitely one of the biggest reasons they got out alive there.
This is one of the best sort of games when it comes to Rocket League, where we can turn around and just go, there's no strategy being employed about this. Because high-level Rocket League, there is not strategy. There is tendencies. There is things that players do better than other things. But high-level Rocket League is about being all-rounded and not being predictable. Neither of these teams are predictable at this point in time. It is all about playing the situation you find yourself in and seeing if you can play a game overall better than your opponent. Literally, all we can really criticize is maybe do this better, but at the same time, we can't just say this team is doing this over and over again because they're not. They're really not. This is just high-level 2v2 Rocket League at its best.
It really is a box of tricks coming out from both teams at the moment, but one moment in that game that really did change things was that recovery save that Scrub made.
Nuts.
And that was where the first goal come from. I mean, Complexity are probably thinking at that point, they're almost, you know, they're not going to get much of a better chance than that. And then Scrub makes that unbelievable save straight up the other end. I mean, that's got to be such a dagger in the heart for Complexity. It's like, this has to, and then you're like, how are we one down? Like,
it's a terrifying part of twos, especially with a game like we're seeing right now, because these aren't high-scoring games by any stretch of imagination.
Oh, no.
They see a mistake from Scrub Killer, they have to go for it. There's no other opportunities that Complexity are going to get that might look any more enticing. They don't know if they're going to get another one. So you can't blame them for going for it, but as soon as it goes wrong, you've got no one back to help you anymore. That's just one of the really nice things about twos is it's risk management, but at the same time, it just doesn't work out at points, and you can look at it and just say you shouldn't have gone for it, but at the same time, you should have gone for it.
You tip
It
your
just didn't
cap
work.
and say, hey, nice save, Scrub, and you deal with it. There's nothing else you can do.
and one thing I love watching from Scrub Killer at the moment is when he doesn't have the ball, is how he's always hovering and just on the prowl and just almost just waiting for any kind of half mistake coming from his opponents. We saw it from the goal where Metsonoris had the bad touch, but his ability to you see him moving around the pitch, and it's just he's waiting for any opportunity to challenge. And
Absolutely.
it must be frightening to know that pressure is going to be on you for Complexity. You can't make a mistake.
It's like a shark in the water, you know? You don't always see it, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
And it's sort of just in the back of your head everywhere you are. And the crazy thing is all 4 players are doing it. It's not just Scrub Killer. They're all reading the game wonderfully and making tough stops on defense. Scrub, of course, is the one we've been hyping up about it, and that's because he's got the one...
He's taking the opportunity that's
and he's got the most to prove out of everybody as well, because, you know, we all hype him up so much, but this is his first, you know, high profile. This is the tournament for everyone to be like, yeah, Scrub can perform well at the level that he's been, you know, signed up for, the RLCS, and this is his, yes, I'm capable of this moment.
Okay then, well, it's time for our 4th game, and it is time for girls to try and close this one out. They're up 2-1 in the series, but every single game has been decided by just the one goal. This has been an incredibly entertaining series, and I'm looking forward to getting into our game number 4. So let's not delay any more. Potential here for girls to book their spot into our grand finals. Can Complexity once again send it to a game 5?
Scrub Killer's going to start us off on the ceiling. Now it's going to be a setup for Greasy Meister to finish off. That is how you start a game.
You want the ultimate yin-yang of shots? How about the bullet from the ceiling and then the slow roller from the ground? This was brilliant. It's the complete opposite of a cross-up. Greasy and Scrub make them think way too hard to start off a game. I would never save that.
Very good start from girls. Gonna look to try and capitalize and give themselves a 3-1 victory. Remember, Freaky earlier on during our interview said that he predicted that girls would definitely make it through. He didn't quite know between Fnatic and Complexity. He didn't say which one. No, he definitely said he didn't know between Complexity and Fnatic.
That's
that
true.
Implies another bracket win.
Because of the implication.
Metsonoris. He's got Magnus to support, but couldn't quite wrap his car around. Instead, Magnus with a flip reset of his own. He's off the ceiling.
Pinch.
Tried for the ground pinch, but like every other ground pinch we've seen attempted throughout this tournament, it's not. One's going to happen, and it's going to be to win the entire tournament. Followed from Magnus, though, and that is how important those challenges can be. I think that's the first time we've seen a challenge truly won that convincingly.
So the big question is, where was Greasy Meister? The answer was he was all the way on the blue half grabbing the other corner boost. The midfield one wasn't up when he went over there to go and grab it, so it was all on Scrub to just hold off Magnus and Metsonoris, and finally just couldn't keep it away from him.
You see a cheated kickoff from Complexity. A boost kickoff from Greasy Meister. Giving that one straight up to Magnus, infield pass. Wasn't the best though, and now Greasy's won a challenge of his own. Can't quite find the angle, but it's back out to Scrub Killer.
And he needed that touch. Greasy missed the boost in the corner. If he lost that challenge, they were done the other way.
Magnus clears long. He can actually keep this going. Forces the challenge, or just not quite.
And Scrub had to make one heck of an adjustment. Greasy accidentally took away his boost in the midfield on the rotation back, so Scrub having to make another tough stop with low resources.
Now Metzer going to follow up. Greasy's got a lot of work to do here, and I'm surprised Metzer didn't try and go for a demo, but instead opted for the boost, and he's also picked the mid boost as well, so there's going to be very little on the side of girls. Looking to take advantage of that. Complexity saw their chance, tried to just barrel the ball through the last defender. I believe if you send multiple people into a challenge, you're twice as likely to win it.
That is how math works, yes.
How physics work. More power. And this could be their opportunity. But Scrub Killer, what a save that is. That's going to buy some time for Breeze to get back in.
Oh,
and
he
then
made
get
that
another
too?
one. Metznaris with the third.
Oh, you're kidding.
Scrub Killer. He's picked up a savior in less than 5 seconds of gameplay.
He doesn't need boost. This is the biggest crutch on the pitch.
Flip reset from Magnus. I just saw on set just sort of slam his hand on the table as if, what is this anymore? How are people able to do this? And let alone how is this not a game-winning sort of play? That's straight down the middle though.
Oh, and he made
Greasy
that.
with a phenomenal save of his own. Somehow, some way achieves. We are still all tied up at 1 goal each.
It's like the inverse of game 1, you know? It was Scrub and Greasy peppering Magnus and Metznaris shot after shot. Now the exact same question is being asked. Went for the fake. Like the idea.
Yeah, Metz and Scrub both faking each other out. I think Metz just didn't want to take on a 50-50 challenge against Scrub Killer. And to be honest, I don't blame him.
Fruitless endeavor.
Infield, Greasy Meister will not be able to pick up the boost either, so now we're going to go to a 2v1 on the other end of the pitch, but it's a very short-lived one. A lot of long balls being played from both teams, but it's just so they can maybe have a look at securing those back boosts. Back up again, on target, Scrub Killer saves.
Ooh. It's a good chance. I think Scrub expected Metznaris to be right on top of that one, and it is open. He hit it way too hard. Scrub, finally a little bit of a lack of pitch awareness here. Really thought Metz was going to be up in the air challenging that, and he just ends up handing it right to him. So great patience from Metznaris and seeing if Scrub makes a mistake.
Will the coin of truth be required
The ultimate.
one more time? Magnus wants to try and secure that game 5 with a goal here. Scrub Killer. A very nice save, just slow played it. Girls are going to have to go out on the hunt. Want to find some sort of way of taking down Complexity. If I'm Complexity, just play at the same pace you have been. Definitely have looked like the stronger of the two teams so far in this game. How quickly that can change, especially now that Magnus is out. This requires a clear from Metza.
Oh, wow. A lot of space given there by Complexity. Scrub had a free clear and a rocket off the back wall. Well saved.
Scrub Killer trying to lock this down in the final third. Greasy against Magnus, and he's won the challenge. Follow-up shot will go in. Girls play that to near perfection.
Yeah, perfect challenge here from Greasy Meister. And another perfect challenge from Scrub out of the midfield. 2 just top-level challenges sitting on top of the opposition. There was no way either of them was going to get that ball through those big cars in front of them. And they just execute it perfectly in front of the net.
Now we're back to 2 goals each. Girls, if they win this, they go through. Complexity can't do it, then they have got a date with Fnatic later on in the broadcast. It's a match that they barely won earlier on Tuesday. Drop down, Metznaris can't get it past Scrub Killer, and now potential to break. On the hood,
oh, he's gonna waste
Magnus,
time.
one-on-one against Scrub. Just gets it away. Greasy Meister just hoping that Scrub Killer could maybe have demoed
Why did he keep that up?
And now Greasy, he's got this one more chance. Magnus jumped early and he's gone and got it away. Now we transition. Scrub Killer, he set it up for Metznaris, who's not there. Just came in from an awkward angle. Both teams had a sniff at finishing off this game.
I was already skeptical of him keeping the ball up at 0 seconds after their one chance. Usually, you know, I say you're one and done at that point, let it fall and reset, but they dodge a bullet at the end.
Scrub gets it past Magnus. Metznaris. As you can see, Scrub Killer trying to slow play. He's won the challenge. Greasy to finish it!
Brilliant play again from Scrub Killer. Look at him buy all this real estate in the center of the pitch. Metznaris has to go back and grab the boost. Scrub Killer saw him go back and said, all right, if you're going to give me the space, just times the challenge, gets up on front, pops it up, and Greasy slams it home. Perfectly executed dribble by Scrub. and they secure it. They go all the way through.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at you right now, Achieve Shogun. You look exhausted, and that's only the second game of the evening, which is the exciting thing. Congratulations to girls. They take the series at 3-1. Again, 1 goal separating the 2 teams in every single game of that series. But what a series it was, gents.
And, you know, Magnus and Metsunoris, there's a reason they took 2nd place last year. It's because they are so good at this game, and they were so close. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, even with 14 shots, 10 saves were made by Scrub and Greasy Meister combined. And 2 of them found the back of the net, and the other 2 just didn't quite get there.
This entire series, you can see all the flash, all of the crazy plays that we saw some of these guys playing for. This was all about setting yourself up for a challenge that you had advantage on, that you could get your teammate in for the quick follow-up. That's all this broke down into. And everything else we saw was all just what was required to set that up. That's how intense that series was. Complexity, they're knocked down to the lower bracket. They'll be facing Fnatic later on. And I cannot wait for that series.
Are we going to talk about the Scrub Killer triple save? Because
I mean, I don't have much analysis other than the word wow 3 times.
That was just phenomenal. I mean, even twice he's pushing the boat out to recover that way, but to 3 saves in a row. And you've got to remember, this game was decided by a single goal. So a play like that, I mean, it is game-changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, the big thing about that play is that at no point did Scrub say to himself, I can clear here. If he tries for even 1 clear, he's going to commit his car too far forward. That's going to allow the next shot to be nice and simple because he's on low boost. He's not got a chance of getting the ball that far. He went into that play recognizing, I'm probably going to have to save this, maybe 2. I think he might have had 2 in his mind, maybe 3. But he knew he had to do it, and he set himself up each time with the idea that he was going to have to make those saves. So no luck involved. He knew what he was going for.
Okay, then. Well, one thing that we do know is that there were 16 goals scored during that series, an incredibly tight series. So thanks to our partners over at Soylent. That means 160 meals going to the World Food Program USA. Again, if you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open and get involved with what is a fantastic cause. Thanks again to our partners over at Soylent for that. But gentlemen, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think I need like an energy drink or some brisk because, you know, I do genuinely feel like a little bit after those first 2 games. It's taken it out of me. It's been a crazy, crazy evening. Luckily, we didn't have to resort to the coin of truth for the game 5. There was a moment there where I was like,
oh dear,
it's going to happen again. But now we have our game set up, obviously, for the lower bracket. I mean, it's going to be tough. Let's have a look at that brisk bracket update and see exactly how the bracket is looking now. Our final 2 games of the day, Complexity taking on Fnatic and Class on Grass taking on Method. Nothing between these teams still, gentlemen. But only 2 more spots to go. Congratulations again to girls for making it through. 3-1 over Complexity. But both of these series we've had so far today, for different reasons, have been absolutely mind-blowing.
And Fnatic probably chomping at the bit to get the rematch against Complexity. It was a close one when they played back on day number 1, a 5-game series, and that's on grass. Hopefully they've had time to settle down after a tough loss to No Names. That was so back and forth. Like you said, came down to the buzzer beater and the overtime goal. A crazy series, so hopefully they'd have had time to clear the mind and get set for their last chance.
All right, then. Well, there's 4 teams left. There's only 2 spots. Let us know using that hashtag UOS2 who you think the final 2 teams are that are going to be going through. And don't forget to follow us over at Universal Open as well to make sure that you get all the information you need for the grand finals and, of course, that Western Regional final that's coming up as well this weekend, so you don't miss out on anything. We're halfway through, though. We only have 2 games left of the closed qualifiers to come. Europe only has 2 spots to go, but there's 4 teams. Who's going to take it?